can. We can do that. It's the self-discipline of doing it, right? And remember, social media messages do not replace calls. It's the activity so you can make the calls. That right there, you do want to separate. You got to send out the messages, and then virtual office is when you make the calls, right? It's not, oh, I'm gonna jump on virtual office. Now I'm gonna send out messages. No, 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 no. Phone has to be in hand. You're making calls from 10 to 11. So you don't want to replace sending out messages, sending out the video to replacing calls, because then you think you're doing something that you're not. No, no, no. The activity is the sending out the messages. The result is picking up the phone and calling. Now, okay, boom, now I have a number. You see, there's an exchange. Send out a message, send out a video, boom, get the number. Okay, boom, now I'm calling, right? It's just the way that it works. So you don't want to replace the social media messages and the animated videos for replacing calls, because it'll make you think you're doing something that you're not. It's kind of like month end and the beginning of the month. You think you got an app, and then that app fall through. Y'all know what I'm talking about? You're like, oh, I know, I'm gonna get this before month end. And the next thing you know, so, oh, I want to wait till next week. Oh, I want to wait, right? And it falls through. So you got to separate the two, and you got to make those calls. Don't replace social media messages and an animated video with making calls. Jen?
Yep. And when you get into making calls, you guys have a pipeline, have a list ready. Like Shay already said, everything just all of a sudden, boom, you got all of these prospects now you can call. So between 10 and 11, that's a hot hour. And that's just 1 hour. So it's not the only hour that you should prepare to prospect and set up certain things with potential recruits. But between 10 and 11, while you're in virtual office and you're making calls, somebody should be in a webinar so that you can get ready to do your follow-ups at 11. Okay, that way you can do two things at once. Your prospecting hours during those 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. first hour, that should be new calls, callback voicemails, booking invites. I probably would lean towards making new calls and calling the people that called you on voicemail back versus people that haven't picked up for like the last 5 times you've called them. Okay. When you book those invites, you guys should be thinking in your mind, okay, which webinar should I book them for? Should it be the 10? Should it be the 2? Should it be the 7? Should it be 2 out of the 3? So personally for me, and this is my schedule that I run, because I want to make sure I'm on appointments at night so that I'm making money, right? Again, this is about a profitable schedule. So if your schedule is not working right now and it's not creating some income for you consistently, then maybe you can adopt an idea from me or Shay. So I don't use the 7 p.m. webinar like that, because I want to be able to immediately do an 8 o'clock follow-up. Make sense, guys? So if I want to do an 8 o'clock follow-up, that's not going to allow me to be in an 8 o'clock appointment for QA. So I purposefully book my webinar invites for 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. because prospecting hours should be between 10 to 1, and then you're doing follow-ups right after, trying to close, working on closing those IBAs, getting people started on a fast start, right? So if you're going to book the invites, book them for a specific webinar time or specific webinar times that you can do follow-ups immediately right after. As soon as 10 a.m. webinar happens, it ends at 10:45. Virtual office ends at 11. I'm hopping right back on my Zoom off of Shaq Zoom. I'm hopping on my Zoom at 11 to do my first follow-up of the day. The next follow-up scheduled for 11:30. The next follow-up scheduled for 12 noon. And if I got 2 o'clocks, I'm scheduling a 3 o'clock follow-up, a 3:30 follow-up, a 4 o'clock follow-up. That's what I'm scheduling. That way, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, I can be in QAs. Does that make sense, guys? Now, when you're sending animation videos, this is where it's not as, fixed of a schedule like webinars are. So what I'm running into, not me personally, but what our team is running into that I'm seeing is we're sending out these animation videos and we're not booking the follow-up immediately. Okay. When you send the animation, before you send the animation video, you got to call and get them prepared for when they're going to watch it, right? You got to say, oh, okay, when can you watch it so I can send you it? I can send you the corporate video, and that way we can set up a follow time right after you watch it. It's only 20 minutes. If you don't watch it, we'll watch it together. That's no problem. But preferably, I like you to watch it so you have some time to put together some questions for me as soon as we meet on Zoom. So when can you watch it? Tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow evening? Today or this afternoon or this evening? Whatever works for your schedule. I'm going to say tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon. Why? Because I know that whatever time they pick, those hours between 11 and 1, I'm doing follow-ups because virtual office 10 to 11, right? So if they want to watch it at 12 noon, okay, great. I'm going to send it to you at 11:30, right? That way you can watch it at 12 noon. I'll check right back. But we're booked, well, right after you're done, it should be about 12:30, and we can hop right on Zoom so I can answer your questions. How about that? So if they're set for 12 noon, I want to do a 12:30 follow-up because the animation video is only 20 minutes. All right. And that way we can follow up. Shay?
The evening time. This is important, right? Because this is where the money making, this is where you should be on appointments every single day, right? At least bare minimum Monday through Friday. I remember listening to Hector Lamarck, one of the West Coast assassins, right? He said that he had so much going on Monday through Thursday that he would take off Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, right? He would put in 50, 60 hours Monday through Friday. So he didn't feel bad about taking off Friday, Saturday, and Sunday because he just had that much going on Monday through Thursday, right? I don't think most of us have that Hector Lamarck type of work ethic, right? Hector Lamarck was one of a kind in this business, right? Back in the day. But Monday through Friday, you got to make sure you have that 6 and 8 qualified appointment. It's so, so important to make sure your schedule is booked out, right? And if you lose one, you got to replace it with another one. You got to have backups ready to go, right? That's where that setting 5 before the blitz on Saturday comes in, right? Because if appointments are falling off, you're able to reschedule them. This is how I set my appointments. If something rescheduled and I can't get them that same week, I'm throwing it out and I'm booking it for next week, right? I'm booking out my week that's coming up from reschedules. And your previous week that you're in should be so booked out that you can do that because you have stuff going on already. And when it falls out, if you can't replace it, you throw it out for the next week. That's how you consistently have a 6 and an 8 Monday through Friday. That's how right there. Once you have a collectively gotten appointments and reschedules and follow-ups, it should be a pipeline where your schedule for appointments is booked, and you should always be going on appointments. And where does that come from? That comes from recruiting successful recruits, because the right ones are going to take you on appointments Saturday and Sunday if you're doing something big, right? This is huge. A lot of people don't take the weekends off. I don't take the weekends off. I take a little bit of time off, but I don't take the weekends off. I'm not there yet. I'm not FI. I'm not financially independent. I'm not where Shaq is. I want to be where Shaq is. I want to be financially independent, right? I was just telling T this morning, I was like, man, I wish right now I was where Shaq is so I can take 90 days to grieve and mourn my father. I don't have that time, but I have the tools. Thank God for Primerica to get me through where I can jump on here and do training. But I'm going to get to that point where I'm FI. It's a process, but it starts from the scheduling. It's so important. 50% of appointments booked happen. That is the truth. The numbers are the numbers. You can't beat the numbers and the numbers can't beat you. 50% of the qualified appointments that you schedule, you're going to go on. 8531. Go on 8, 5 F&As, get 3 clients, you'll recruit 1. Now, how many cycles of the 8531 are you going to do? That's important. Some people do it in a year. Some people do it in a month. Some people do it in a week. West Coast do it in a day. All right. So that 8531, this is important because it's a cycle. Primerica is a fine oil machine, you all. If we follow what they tell us to do, we will become successful in Primerica. Have 5 qualified appointments booked for the following week by Wednesday of this week. Listen, this has saved my life. This has saved my life teaching people on our team how to do this and doing it myself, because it keeps my schedule booked. Because today, if I didn't have any appointments set for this week coming up, I'm tripping. I have anxiety. I'm like, oh, okay. It doesn't sit well with me because I know what's going to happen from those appointments. Excitement, I'm going to get referrals. Value, I'm going to get some clients. Partnership, I'm going to get a recruit or 2. That's what's going to happen. So making sure that I have appointments coming into the week before the Saturday blitz starting on the Wednesday, and knowing that is so important. Because if you don't have anything going on for that upcoming week, you're out of business. And remember, the awesome, the phenomenal, God bless him, Bill Whittle said you have to stay in business until you build a business. Because I don't care what anyone says. I know this is a great opportunity, but no one's gonna sit here for free and not make no money. Eventually, if you don't make money, you're gonna quit. And it starts with setting those appointments. Confirm every qualified appointment on Saturday Blitz and book out the rest of your week. Important. If you have appointments set right now for the upcoming week, absolutely confirm them. Because guess what? If they're not confirmed, you got to replace them. You got to double book because we don't need that in our life. We got to make sure we're attacking that three-headed monster. The three-headed monster is setting appointments, going on appointments, and closing. It's a three-headed monster. You can set them. That's great. But yeah, are you going on them? Right? And the only way you're going to close is if you go on them. So that's why I call it the three-headed monster, right? Because you only going to miss the shots that you don't take. You got to take the shot. At least you took it. If you missed it, that's fine. If you go on an appointment, you missed it, that's fine. You learned, you overcame objections, you got better because the repetition of going on appointments. But you got to set them, you got to go on them, and the only way you're gonna close is if you go on them. So that's the three-headed monster, right? So this for me is good to hear this over and over for myself, because sometimes you get lost in the sauce because you have your own schedule, right? It don't matter because you're an RVP. None of that matters, right? This is big. This is very huge. Jen?
Yep. And I want to piggyback on that too. When Shay talked about referrals, this is, if you guys want to know, and Shaq said I have to teach everyone, meaning all of my team, how I have 300 referrals plus from 2020 alone on my personal appointments, because I can just pick up the phone and just call a referral. The good news about going in the QA, and I learned this from Shay, everything happens in the QA. Okay. If your day for recruiting kind of falls off, that's okay. But your QAs, you can also recruit the client. But if you don't recruit the client, you can also ask the client for referrals to potential recruits too, right? And we did this training a long time ago, a couple of weeks ago, so we're not going to go over it again. But instead of just asking for other potential clients, who do you know would deserve to get this education, you can also ask right after you're done with your first 5 referrals, and just, if they're saying, oh, that's all I got for you, Shay, that's all I know who would, want to actually sit down. Okay, by the way, who do you know that might need extra income? Who do you know that might need extra income? Who do you know that may not be happy with their job? Now you're asking for recruiting referrals. And you know what I found since I started this? The recruiting referrals they're a lot more solid than the cold recruits, right? Or the LinkedIn recruits, or the IG recruits, or the recruits that come from the actual recruit that are not clients first recruits. So if a client refers you, think about it. In the person, the referral's mind, they're thinking, oh, a client referred me. That means we got their social. That means, like, why wouldn't you trust our company or this person, Shay Felton or Jen Lee, to train me the right way if this person is a client, right? Indirectly, they know the business works because so-and-so is a client and referred them. Does that make sense, guys? So at the end of the day, you got to make sure your evening is booked. And if one falls off, you're going to have another one. But you got to get to a point where you are working in the evening. Some people, they tell me, my friends that work a 9 to 5 right outside of Primerica, when I talk to them every so often, they're like, you work weird hours. I'm like, no, I don't. You work weird hours. They're like, everybody works 9 to 5. I'm like, everybody who's not happy with their job was working 9 to 5. I work 5 to 9 and I'm pretty free. Sorry. I mean, I can choose when I want to work. And so I want to work. Oh, but what about my wedding? My best friend, she said, oh, you got to come to my wedding, even if you have training on Saturday. I was like, no, I'm not. I'm just going to miss your wedding. You better not have your wedding on Saturday morning. I'm not coming. And this is my best friend this is my best friend. This is my twin. This is my sister. Like, she is my ride or die. And you know how much of a headbutting situation that was? I mean, we were going back and forth. I mean, Shay, she was very upset. She was like, you mean to tell me you're not coming? I was like, listen, if you don't make it to my wedding, I won't be upset with you if you got to run your own business. I'm not going to be upset with you because I know your business is your baby. And that's going to provide freedom for your family. You can't be mad at me for trying to provide freedom for my family and my mom, and you're trying to get me to skip my mom's retirement, No, we're not doing that. You can have your wedding Saturday night. I can fly in and make it there by Saturday night, I promise you. But I gotta be there for training. I gotta be there for training. And guess what? She had her wedding on Monday. And you know what? You can't prove to people you're serious and earn quality referrals if your client or recruit doesn't think you're serious. If they can't look in your eyes, Sheila, Cheryl, Gabby, and be like, this person she is sold out. I mean, she is not for sale. She is not for sale at all. Like, there's nothing that's going to break her commitment. I want to follow that person. That's the person I want to follow. You know, I'm not for sale. We are sold out to this opportunity. So non-negotiables. That takes us back to non-negotiables. Any questions, guys? Say anything else?
That's so big. You have to make people respect your schedule.
Mhm.
And if that means not showing up to something, that's what it means. And it's like, tell them, oh, no, let's do it on Monday morning. They're not going to do it. Why do you think they're not going to do it on Monday morning? They at work. Tell them, let's do it Tuesday afternoon. They're not going to do it because they're at work. So you have to make them respect your non-negotiable schedule. It starts with you. You've got to make them respect it. Even when I was working a job, they had to respect it. In the evening time, this is what I'm doing. On the weekends, this is what I'm doing. Right now, granted, you do take time for yourself. You take a few hours and take time for yourself. Yes, absolutely. Not saying that, because we all need that time to breathe, right? Absolutely. However, if you don't do what you're supposed to do, you got to stick to that schedule. That schedule, man. And trust me, I've messed up my schedule so many times. And it's like what Bruce Cox said, you just take your head and bang your head up against the tree. Because if I don't stick to this schedule, I was traveling this week. I was so mad because I was on California time, and then I had to do a turnaround, and then I had jet lag, and I'm like, I was all over the place. I was tired, and I had meetings, I had appointments, and I got to meet with the team. I was mad because I'm like, my schedule was messed up because the time is messed up because I got to go do this for this, and then I got to, and it just made me mad. But then I got back on track and I felt better. I'm like, okay, whoo. Because I'm not FI yet. I'm not there to be able to just throw my schedule anyway, do what I want to do, right? So it has to be non-negotiable, you all. It has to be non-negotiable. You guys have any questions? We got a lot of time left. I can go maybe.
Hey, Shay, Jen, I was just wondering, like, are you guys getting success with sending the 18-minute video?
I have.
Okay.
I've gotten a few appointments, but I will say, Jen, can you stop recording for me? We'll stop recording on your end.